Our next and final featured speaker from tonight, we will have time for a couple more pop-up stories if anyone wants to have a go, is Simon Stibbs. And Simon is a husband, a dad, and a business coach. And his story is titled Living Life Off Script. Please welcome Simon Stibbs.
Living life off script. Tonight I'm going to talk about when my life went off script. We all have, when we're sort of young, ambitions. When I was a kid growing up, I wanted to be an Australian cricketer, and also wanted to. I really fancied being a professional surfer. I can't actually surf. I never could, but I like the idea of going to exotic island locations with lots of bikinis. I was young growing up. But on the 17th of January, 1999, my life went off script, and it was the day I lost my son, Ben. And Ben was 17 days old, and it was the weekend of the Fremantle Sardine Festival. And we'd had a great morning. It was his first actual outing outside of the house, and we were coming back, and we were in the car. Mel was driving, and he started to cry. And we were just on Leach Highway, and we pulled over, changed his nappy as you do as young parents, and we continued on. And probably we started to get close to home, and the crying became sort of more gasping, and I could notice his colour changing. And so I said to my wife Mel, "We need to go to the GP immediately because something's not right here." And so we went straight to the GP, and the GP assessed Ben, and he said, "There's something not right here. We have to call an ambulance." And so the ambulance arrived, and Mel got in the back of the ambulance, and I followed the car. We were about halfway to the hospital, and I was tailing the ambulance, and it suddenly stopped, and the driver got out and rushed to the back and opened the doors, and there was my wife distraught, and the other ambulance officer was performing CPR. And in a blink of an eyelid, the driver got back out, shut the door, and we made breakneck speed to the hospital. And for about 40 minutes at the hospital, it seemed like forever, we were consoling each other, saying it was going to be okay. Praying to God. I'm not religious, but at these times you look for whatever help you can get. And when the doctor came in, it was pretty clear what my news was going to be. And I'll never forget it. He said, "Look, I'm really sorry you've lost your son." And he said, sometimes little birds fall from trees and we don't know why. Now, that was a period that was very dark in my life, as you can imagine. The things from going home to a baby's room and there's no baby. No 16th, no 18th, no 21st, no friends, no I love you mum, love you dad. Very dark and sorrowful time in our lives. It was about 6 months later that I was driving to work, and I had a good corporate job, and I was stuck in the Narrows. And the Narrows will do this to you, but I had a bit of an epiphany, and so I went in that morning, and I hadn't discussed it with Mel, my wife, but I went in and resigned. And I'd always wanted to have my own business, but you know how you put things in front of yourself? It's not the right time, you're not good enough, waiting for that perfect moment. And the reality is the perfect moment, it's always a dog's breakfast whenever you do it. So I walked in that day and I resigned, and I called up Mel and I said, Mel, I've resigned, we're going to set up a business. And when I look back on that time in my life now, yes, there's still there's pain and there's sorrow, but I guess over the years it's transformed, and it's transformed into gratitude and gratitude for having Ben, his life, and I guess the also gratitude for the lessons that came from that, and those lessons revealed themselves over time, and they're still revealing themselves. But I guess the connectedness now that I now feel with people, when I meet with people, it was 18 days, but it was 18 days well spent, and I'm forever indebted for him being in my life. Thank you for